effort-based or performance-based salary. That is one. Second is going to be a deferment of salary. And third one is going to be on timesheet base. So all three are in a discussion phase. I will elaborate in a one or two sentence. Though it is a it is a time consuming kind of answers. But then when we talk about timesheet, based salary or timesheet base of your entire organization on a timesheet, that will take you to a situation wherein you would able to pay an hourly basis to your employee, and that will make you enable to get part-timers into your industry, in your organization, or in your industry, having a performance measure out there. So that is one way of looking how the salaries are going to happen in coming days. Not now, then maybe next month, or maybe next to next month, or within 6 months. But timesheet base need to be adapted very fast. That is what European countries and Western countries are doing, wherein they are paying hourly basis salary and fortnightly basis or a weekly basis. So that is point number one. Point number two is going to be on a deferment basis. Now, deferment basis what that you create a slab within your organization, maybe up to one particular level. Let's say for an hypothetical pursuit, 40,000 a month, or maybe for, one layer as a 40,000 as a layer for layer number one, 75,000 layer number two, maybe 1.5 lakh or 1 lakh beyond would be layer number three. And then you do a deferment of salary in a way that 40,000 you're not going to cut anything. On maybe 75 plus, you're going to release 70% now, 30% later on. Maybe on 1 lakh and above, it could be 60% or 55%, maybe 1.5 lakh and above. You can defer the salary 50% you're paying now, and maybe 50% later on. So this is what the second way of looking at. And third is basically going to be on a maybe totally performance based, wherein whichever you feel as NPA, you ask them to move out of the organization and balance. Again, you relook at the kind of cash flow you do have and have a salary cut and give it to them. So this is how the impact are going to be, because during COVID is going to be definitely a longer period than after COVID-19. Okay. So of course I'm putting it as an to open forum for a discussion as far as the salary point is concerned, because this is really a burning issue and we are reaching to a dead end, which is 30th of April or 1st of May.
Sure, Neil. We will see later in the webinar if we can take up the salary issue again. Now I'll come to Pranav. Pranav, the first question for you is one part of where the revenues would come for the company are the relationship with the customers. So in this changing business model, how are the customer contracts also undergoing changes? So will the service level agreements, the SLAs, will be written in a different way? As a prominent SI working with customers, you will have these contracts. So what is your opinion? How are these the dynamics of these contracts changing?
Okay, I guess this question is typically been selected by Anuj for me because he knows that my family background is judiciary. But I will, so I will try and make the best out of it as per my interpretation goes. One thing is very clear here, that work from home obviously is getting established as the new normal. This undoubtedly changes the way we have drawn contracts till date. So I will be coming straight to the point that yes, all the tech and non-tech requisites for such work model can become part, will become part of the contract, and such requisites will also have to be drawn out in very elaborate way. Idea is to ultimately get the customer developing faith on us by encompassing all these aspects, looking at the new normal. So that's one part of the story. In fact, I was deliberating about the same with my colleague CTO Vishal Vasu, who is the board of director on the company also, and Mr. Prerak, another director on the board, who is managing the entire operations of the company, about a few days back, and we all agreed to this new aspect of the new normal. Having said that, we also sort of had deliberated and debated about the SLAs. And yes, so probably what we feel is, and I think that's the best way to go forward, is two sets of SLAs that might come into existence eventually. One kind of during the normal operation scenario, which we were having before pre-COVID. So I'm not saying, I'm not writing off that scenario at all. That scenario will exist. And in fact, partially work from home and partially the normal operation scenario will exist. So the SLA will have two parts to it. One, which is addressing to the normal operation scenario. And I'm sure I'm fully aware that, and we all are sort of aware that this pandemic is not going to go just like that. We cannot wish it just like that to go away. It's going to stay there for at least next 2 years in one or the other form, and we'll be very careful. But having said that, the other specific SLA which will be drawn out around such pandemic situation will be from the force majeure clause point of view, which is acquired, in fact, heroic status in the mindset of the legal fraternity. And frankly, let me tell you guys, even legal luminaries are trying to establish this new normal for this force majeure clause and its interpretation too. Because there are, as per the case might be, while we all are in the IT service provider category here in one or the other way, but the clients that we are trying to handle here and the dynamics that the client is going through, probably the interpretation balancing needs to be done as far as the force majeure clause is concerned. So I think a very clear and precise point here for you, my friend Rajneesh. I think that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, thanks. We might again come to this point later. Now,
Sure.
My next question is for Shantanu. See, one thing is in the overall scenario, in the situation where the employees are under pressure, how can organizations, especially the mid-tier organizations, ensure we talked about the salary part. The salary is definitely the biggest challenge. And overall, the emotional quotient of employees. So how can organizations ensure that? And the second is, how are most of the Indian midterm companies, when we are talking about a change in business model, will need a complete reorientation of the employees across all aspects, be it marketing, HR, or even technology. So how prepared are the companies for these reorientation or reskilling?
Well, Rajnish, thank you so much for the question. I will take up the first one, actually, managing the emotional stability and emotional quotient, as you referred it, actually, while working from home. So we all know COVID-19 and the situation almost came as a shock. We are not, we did not get any long-term mental preparation to that this is going to come and this is going to happen. So in our organization, what we actually try to do is basically try to make an individual feel that he is not alone, first of all. Right. So evening team meeting over Zoom or Skype is actually a mandate. So I mean, there are a couple of teams, they are supposed to meet over Zoom and over Skype at the evening with their team leaders, respective team leaders. So at the end of the day, that gives them kind of a satisfaction of being together, working together. That also they discuss a lot of things which are beyond business, like how you are doing, like the way we have been discussing in the beginning before we started the webinar. So that in fact I got the feedback that they are very happy with the situation, that they are feeling that they are not alone. They are they have they are a part of a team actually, right? And second thing is second portion is basically we have already declared monetary incentive for the good performance. so that they get some kind of encouragement and incentives actually for working